Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's NAPW eChapter meeting. Ladies, I'm going to let you get all settled in so we can talk. I am so happy to be here with you. I'm always thrilled to host these bi-weekly events that allow us to bring you the best of NAPW. Successful and talented women, informed topic discussions, and unique networking opportunities. No matter where you are or where I am, we've got you covered. You know, behind every successful woman is her network, and at NAPW, we certainly have your back. We know we are doing something right because every 2 weeks, more and more of you are joining us on this virtual journey. Our eChapter now boasts nearly 16,000 members from all around the country. I am just cracking up thinking about that number when we started just a few months ago. Speaking of around the country, in case the hat wasn't a total giveaway, today I'm joining you from Louisville, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky Derby, or as most people around here say, the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, and I could not be more excited. Later this evening, our National Director of Chapters and New York City Chapter President, Louise Newsom, and I will be joining the ladies of Louisville and Lexington, Kentucky chapters for a Derby cocktail garden party and networking event. I am so looking forward to this fun event. Of course, I'm going to take lots and lots of pictures. We're going to get to sip mint juleps, network with some fabulous Southern women, and admire all those beautiful Derby hats. And I have a collection for the whole week. I tell you, it's the perfect way to de-stress after a long day. Stress. It is that 6-letter word all professional women have to deal with. Stress at work, stress at home, it's everywhere. But what's normal stress and what's excessive? How can you still be productive when your stress level is off the charts? And how does it affect our health? I'm talking mental and physical. Well, as I said, we have your back. This week's eChapter topic is stress less, how to combat stress in your life. And we have 3 NAPW members, all experts in the field of corporate coaching, wellness, and psychology, who will answer those questions and more. During this next hour, they will generously share their knowledge, expertise, and tips about how to better manage the stress in your life. I'm going to be carefully listening to their advice, and you know I'll have some of my own. Before we get to the panel discussion, we will hear from 3 more remarkable VIP members in our VIP Member Spotlight segment. A woman who has helped grow her small family business into the successful company it is today. A holistic nurse who is the owner of a thriving wellness private practice, and a master certified consultant who helps businesses maximize their potential. I cannot wait to hear what they have to tell us about their professional journeys. Finally, I will remind you to please participate in the polls that will appear throughout the meeting. This interactive aspect of the eChapter meetings gives us some great insight into our attendees and your thoughts on some very important topic, and they also help us set agendas for the future eChapter meetings. And now, it's time for me to turn the eChapter meeting over to Louise. Louise, do you have your hat on yet?
I have my hat. It's actually right here. It's the smaller version of yours, Star. Because
you're always my mini-me. You know that.
So I let you have the shining moment, and I'm going to put my hat on later.
Fair enough. Take it away, Louise.
Thank you. Well, I'm also very excited to be here in Louisville for this week's NAPW eChapter. It's actually the first time that I get to leave the office and do this, and I'm looking forward to our Kentucky Derby networking event this evening at this beautiful location with our chapter presidents here and members and guests. But first, down to business with our eChapter that's held bi-weekly Wednesdays at either noon or 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's unique to NAPW as it hosts only its members nationally, inviting them to be spotlights, panelists, and guests to network with each other throughout the event. We encourage you to carve out the time and keep coming back to our eChapter because of its ease and ability to network from your office, while on the road, and even from the comfort of your own home. So mark your calendars for every other Wednesday and look out for the email invites and promotions on social media. As always, I'd like to welcome our NAPW members, especially if you're joining us for the first time today. And we also have in attendance today some additional corporate moderators to assist you or just chat with you along the way. They are Talia Cardiello, the Director of Membership Services, Samantha Picorni, Local Chapter Manager, who'll do her best to offer any technical support if needed, and Dana Angel, Graphic Designer and Digital Media Manager, will be live posting throughout the event on NAPW's Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, encouraging you in the chat room to share our posts on your social media. You will also see several times during the event a poll pop up on your screen. Please take a few minutes to answer the questions as we'll share the results during the panel discussion. The agenda for our event today is that we'll be showcasing 3 VIP business spotlights who have 3 minutes each to share their expertise before we invite our panelists on to discuss our topic for today, how to combat stress. So for our first spotlight today, I'd like to introduce Nancy Collier, who is the Vice President of a woman-owned, family-run company called St. Elizabeth Street Display, and the recently appointed NAPW Bergen County, New Jersey chapter. Nancy, if you can mute yourself while I introduce you, please. St. Elizabeth, Nancy, you need to mute yourself, please. St. Elizabeth is a full-service point-of-purchase display company located in New Jersey that specializes in displays. Nancy, along with her family, have helped many well-known companies with unique solutions for their marketing and merchandising programs. St. Elizabeth has been in business since the 1950s and continues to be a valuable partner to many large publishers, food companies, hardware, and many other industries. Nancy also has a small social enterprise called Crack Rock Candy that she recently founded with her daughter, Bree. Crack Rock is a delicious toffee and chocolate-based candy selling their product at farmers markets, online, and recently was a huge success at the Chocolate Expo in Garden City, New York. Crack Rock donates a portion of its proceeds to help fund education, rehab, and post-rehab for people with drug and alcohol addictions. Good afternoon, Nancy. You can unmute yourself now, and please go right ahead.
Thank you, Louise. Thanks for that nice introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Nancy Collier. I've been married for 28 years, and my husband's support has allowed me to become successful. I have 2 children, and I was a mom that couldn't always make it to every play or every party, but I'm so proud of them. They've grown up to be hardworking, independent adults. My daughter has watched me work in my family business that eventually became a woman-owned business. I'm so proud to inspire her. When I was younger, my father bought into a partnership for a point-of-purchase display company. I always wanted to be a real estate broker. I love architecture and interiors and design, but I had to go where my family called, and I ended up at St. Elizabeth Street Display. Well, all these years later, here I am, still at St. Elizabeth, and my brother and I continue to run the company. And it is a women-owned company, so we're very proud of that. In order to keep our clients happy, we have to stay on top of trends and keep designs in mind that are happening in the world today. And we have evolved into a full-service display company. So what we do now is we have a design team, prototype team, manufacturing, and lots of other great things that go into putting a store display out on the floor loaded with product. So I don't know what I was thinking, but in the midst of all of this, I started a new company, quite by accident. I founded Crack Rock Candy by a mistake in my kitchen on November in 2014. I was making cheesecake, and I actually overcooked the caramel, and it turned into toffee. So Crack Rock was born. I began making candy for friends, and I was told that it was so addicting to the point that they would call me asking for more of that crack. So we decided to trademark Crack Rock, and my daughter Brie and I set off to build a small social enterprise. My daughter said to me, if we're going to call this company Crack, don't you think maybe we should do something good? So that's what we did. We put a drug statistic on every bag, and today we're proud to donate 25 cents from every bag, whether or not we make a profit, to support young people in recovery, Partnership for Drug-Free Kids, and we're hoping to help other organizations that are aligned with our goals. We've been to farmers markets, and as Louise mentioned, the New York Chocolate Expo, where we sold out of 5 of our 7 flavors. And we'll soon be in a local gourmet shop in New Jersey called the Market Basket. And if you're wondering if our candy is good, we got a 5-star review from Candy Gurus. They're a candy critic out in California. My daughter Bree is currently in school for culinary arts and plans to bring her skills back to Crack Rock to continue another woman-owned family business. And as a thank you for being here today, to all of you, I would like to extend free shipping to everyone that orders in the month of May. So please visit our website, crackrock.com, enter NAPW with your order, and we'll get your order out right away. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Nancy. Go right ahead, mute yourself, take yourself off camera and go into that chat room and talk about that candy. I can personally attest to the deliciousness after overindulging at National Conference a couple of years ago. Loved it. Anyway, as we move on, our next spotlight, I'd like to introduce Vivian Joy Lamadrid, founder of Journeys for Wellness Incorporated, holistic nurse and healing touch certified practitioner, practicing at the Chicago Holistic Healing Center, which is located at Weiss Memorial Hospital. Her areas of expertise and experience are critical care, emergency room trauma, post-anesthesia, pain management, holistic healing, healing touch, and wellness. Vivian Joy is excited to bring an internationally recognized healing modality, TRE, trauma release exercises, into her wellness practice. In addition to having a wellness practice, private practice, Vivian Joy works as a bedside nurse in the post-surgery recovery room for Advocate Healthcare. Vivian Joy is also an alumni of the Institute of Zen Leadership, whom her teachers are Zen priests and Zen masters, and is also a member of a nursing honor society, Sigma Theta Tau International. Since 2010, she has presented on topics on holistic approaches to stress management, healing, touch, and non-pharmacological approach to pain management to physicians, nurses, nursing students, new graduate nurses, employees, and to the community. Good afternoon, Vivian Joy. Are you there? Vivian?
Hi.
Hello. Welcome. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I'm just looking for my script. Hold on one second. All right. So we live in a world that's getting more complex at a faster pace by living in a digital age. Us women have multiple roles with increased responsibilities, obligations, and commitments. Plus, we are doing more with less, which adds to our stress. As a nurse in the hospital, I see what stress does to the body. To help ease your stress at a deeper level is through holistic healing. There are 3 things. Remember her. H, higher awareness. E, be empowered. R, be resilient. First is to have a higher awareness. Connect with your gut wisdom to reach a higher for guidance to support and transform your stress to be resilient. You may be highly sensitive. Did you know that 20% of the world's population is highly sensitive, who are deep feelers? You may feel other people's stresses. You can take the high sensitivity self-test at hsperson.com. Second is to be empowered. Activate the body's wisdom to be a gateway to free the mind and emotions with holistic healing, so that you can be empowered to overcome stress. Healing touch, similar to Reiki, is an energy healing therapy. My clients don't realize how much stress and tension their bodies hold. After a session, they feel much lighter, relaxed, peaceful, hopeful, and happier. Another holistic healing approach is TRE, trauma release exercises that relieves tension and stress. This is recognized in 35 countries. TRE is using 7 exercises that will help prepare the body to naturally shake off stress and tension. Third is to be resilient. Being resilient is taking action. Let go of old responses to stress that no longer serves you. Use your body to be grounded and centered. Now let's take a moment to do this all together. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your feet flat on the ground and connect with the earth energy. Then bring your awareness with your breath to your lower abdomen and say to yourself 3 times, As I breathe in peace. As I exhale, I feel at ease. As I breathe in peace. As I exhale, I feel at ease. As I breathe in peace. As I breath out, I feel at ease. You can do this 3 to 5 times in the morning to start your day grounded and centered. Another action is to make a bucket list to reduce your stress, and to make another list that rhymes with buckets, like suck it, to list things that adds to your stress so you can have that awareness to let them go. The last action to take is to invest in yourself. To reduce stress, invest in holistic healing. I can help guide you to take it to a deeper level and teach you more holistic healing techniques to reduce stress. I will send you valuable resources and special discounts on my services. You could go to journeysforwellness.com/ENAPW stress less. If you're willing to allow the body to be a gateway to free the mind and emotions, you can discover how holistic healing can help at a deeper level to reduce your stress. So remember these 3 things. Remember her. H, higher awareness. Connect with your gut wisdom. E, be empowered. Activate your body's wisdom. R, be resilient to take action so you can have that inner peace, joy, love, health, abundance, and confidence in reducing your stress at home and at work. To your happiness, health, and healing. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. I know that breathing exercise actually just helped me out a little bit. eChapter is always a little stressful before it starts, so remembering to breathe, really important. Please go over into the chat room, keep sharing these wonderful holistic practices with the attendees today. Last but not least, for our spotlights today, I'd like to welcome Jennifer O'Brien, who is a senior IT accounting manager and entrepreneur with over 25 years of broad business experience in the small business market, an effective leader with strategic and operational skills supporting business processes with technology and accounting software solutions. Jennifer O'Brien attended Drogan's Business College and received certificates in accounting and computer programming and attended Memphis State University. Jennifer has been a national speaker for Sage Software Score and the TDC organizations. She began in 1989 with her first client, and 24 years later is fortunate to see that grow to over 6,000 clients. Accounting Business Solutions by JCS is a master certified solution provider for Intuit and Sage software products, including QuickBooks and QuickBooks Point of Sale, Sage 50 and Sage 100 ERP. JCS adopted "Your success is our goal" as their current motto, and pledge to the small business community is to help them successfully understand how to interpret financial statements and analyze real-time business data to make informed business decisions. Jennifer is also the residing NAPW president of Royal Oak, Michigan chapter. Jennifer, great to have you here today.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you for asking, and thank you for saying that. And Louise and Star, I just wanted to say I love the hats. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'll start with a small story. Around the time I was 17, I picked up programming. I went on to learn accounting, computer hardware, and networking. In 1989, an electrician was hanging a ceiling fan in my kitchen. He asked me about my background, and 2 days later, he sent me my first customer. That's what I call being in the right place at the right time. Today, we provide sales, support, and training on a variety of accounting software nationwide, such as QuickBooks and Sage products. What makes JCS Accounting Business Solutions different is the way we approach small businesses like yours. Not only do we teach you how to use software tools, we go one step further and help you understand how to interpret information, including financial statements, so you can become self-sufficient. There are more and more women starting and running businesses, and most find accounting technology a bit scary. It doesn't have to be, ladies. If I can do this, anyone can. The key byproducts for you are efficiency, time management, and organization. I want to briefly talk about software options and how these tools can help you grow your business and hopefully take down your stress level. What are the benefits for a new company or a small business when you start using accounting software such as QuickBooks, Sage 50, or Xero? Here are the top 3. You get real-time information, like how much money you have in the bank and what's available to spend. You can eliminate redundant tasks, such as manually writing checks and later compiling how much money comes in and out and calculating your profit. You can easily share information about your business with your bank, accountant, and CPA. If your company is in growth mode, you might need the next level up, for example, something like Sage 100. So what extra benefits do you get? You get robust inventory management. You can track what you have in stock, what you sell, and costs by item and customer, and manufacturing costs. You can manage who works on jobs with materials and steps along the way with profitability on a per job or project basis. And for service-based companies, you may need to schedule staff, track contracts, and remember what needs to be done and when. I would like to offer fellow NAPW members this. We have free Excel training classes, and they can be found on our website, www.jcscomputer.com/Excel training classes, a free buyer's guide, a discount coupon, and $99 classes for training on QuickBooks and Sage 50. My thanks to NAPW for this opportunity, and I wish you all a profitable afternoon and a lot less stress. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you to all our NAPW professional spotlights today. Well, now it's time to continue our program and move on into our panel discussion. Jennifer, if you want to take yourself off camera and mute yourself and go on into the chat room, that would be great. So for our first spotlight, I welcome Heather Bella, CEO, owner of Bodies Evolved LLC, an ISSA certified master trainer, personal coach, and nutrition coach. Bodies Evolved provides online fitness and nutrition coaching to clients of all ages, fitness levels, and abilities. Heather is a certified master trainer through the International Sports Sciences Association. She has a particular passion for guiding those new to fitness through lifestyle transformations that profoundly impact their entire lives. Heather is involved in a number of professional organizations besides NAPW, including the IDEA Health and Fitness Association, the National Physique Committee, Women in Federal Law Enforcement, and the Golden Key International Honor Society. Heather is also 12 and a half years into her career as a full-time active duty member of the United States Air Force, where in addition to her primary duty, she serves as a squadron physical training leader. She's also a certified resiliency training assistant, coaching her fellow airmen to develop mental, physical, social, and spiritual fitness and skills for coping with stresses ranging from daily hassles to significant traumatic events. She is a lifelong learner, currently pursuing both her bachelor's degree in criminal justice and additional professional fitness certifications. Good afternoon, Heather. Wonderful to have you on our panel today. Come on live and join us.
Thank you, Louise. It's great to be here today.
Wonderful. Great, Heather. We're going to move on and introduce our next spotlight, which is Dr. Deborah Story, who is a licensed psychologist with over 20 years of experience in the mental health field. She's provided clinical services, consultation, and supervision in a variety of settings, including medical and psychiatric hospitals, public school systems, juvenile justice, and state and federal correctional institutions. She specializes in individual and family psychotherapy with children and adolescents, addressing many issues such as family and peer conflict, oppositional behavior, depression, to just name a few. In 1993, Dr. Story graduated from the University of Richmond in Virginia with a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. And in 1996, she earned her Master of Science degree in clinical psychology from Miami Institute of Psychology, and in 2000 completed her doctorate in clinical psychology with a specialty in forensic psychology. Since 2009, Dr. Story has been in full-time private practice in Hertford County, North Carolina. She provides a wide range of mental health services for children, adolescents, and adults who live in this rural area and its surrounding counties. Besides NAPW, she's also a member of the American Psychological Association, North Carolina Psychological Association, National Registers of Health Providers of Psychology, and the International Association of Trauma Professionals. Good afternoon, Deborah. Glad to have you here with us too. Come on live and join us.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful, Deborah. But last but not least, move on to our final panelist, Dr. Gabrielle Pellicci, founder of Women in Wellness. Dr. Gabby is a leading expert on holistic medicine, author of Blissful Business, TV host at the Health and Wellness Channel, an expert wellness blogger at Huffington Post and sheknows.com. She has traveled to 40 countries, worked with thousands of clients, including celebrities and high-profile people, and has more than 2,000 hours of training in yoga, bodywork, meditation, and energy healing. Dr. Gabby is the founder of womaninwellness.com and has more than a decade of teaching experience under her belt at top universities in mind, body, medicine, and holistic health. Her expertise is regular featured in national and local media such as MSNBC, the New York Post, and US News and World. Good afternoon, Gabby. Are you there? Come online.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Well, look, Dr. Deborah, Heather, Gabby, please come on with me and unmute yourselves. I'd like you all up here on the screen with me.
Hello.
Perfect. Wonderful. Great. Well, look, let's get going here. I'll first we need to understand what stress is, the triggers, and how to manage or combat it. Hans Sales, a pioneering Austrian-Canadian endocrinologist in 1936, defined it as the non-specific response of the body to any demand of change. So, ladies, that being said, please share with us what you've witnessed to be stress-related conditions that affect function either mentally or physically. Heather, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Louise. As I work with different clients, some of the most common early effects of stress that I encounter include lack of sleep, stomach complaints, and various aches and pains. Along with that, as stress increases, a lot of people tend to eat either too much or just as often they'll eat too little. These effects are often accompanied by a decrease in physical activity, which further decreases our sense of well-being. This decrease in activity refers not just to skipping planned exercise, it includes a decrease in all physical activity as stress depletes our energy levels. Most of us have experienced some or all of these effects at various points in life, and they do throw us off our game. But ideally, extreme stress is temporary, and we return to normal within a few days. The more significant issues develop when stress becomes chronic, continuing for weeks, months, or even years. Chronic stress is often accompanied by poor diet and lack of physical activity, and together these can contribute to many significant and even life-threatening diseases. It affects our joints, our cardiovascular health, our digestive health, our hormone balance, overall physical condition, and of course our mental state. Unfortunately, chronic stress has become the new normal for many of us, with juggling a job or sometimes 2 or 3, family, friends, community service, and more. Women in particular are reluctant to say no to anyone, and taking care of ourselves is one of the first things to go as we increase our obligations. An hour of gym time becomes a luxury, unhealthy fast food is the go-to shortcut, and 8 hours of sleep feels impossible. As our energy levels drop, feelings of happiness decrease, waistlines increase, numerous health markers take a turn for the worse. All of these things then become sources of stress in themselves, further increasing the burden we bear. This results in an ongoing negative spiral until we make the choice to make ourselves a priority.
Heather, obviously, I mean, you know, everything you're saying here, it resonates on a lot of levels. I mean, I know that with my shift here over to NAPW full-time about 3 years ago coming up, you know, my life came a little more sedentary and sitting around and less activity, and I noticed mental change, and I had to really address that. I had to really recognize it and then deal with it and actually go into action. So, Dr. Gabby, let's have you on next since you follow suit with this topic, and let's hear your opinions here on this managing stress and understanding how to deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Heather nailed it. She named so many things that are critical, such as the different habits that we develop when we're really stressed, the eating, the sleeping changes. We do become more sedentary and we're less likely to exercise. I work specifically with people in the health and wellness industry, and you would think that those of us in the industry, we have better habits, but we're very vulnerable to stress as well, especially independent practitioners and entrepreneurs who are managing a business on their own doing all of the marketing and sales and customer service, and that can be so overwhelming. And so it creeps in with us too. And one thing that we know about caregivers and people who are taking care of other people is that we always tend to put other people first. It's our passion to serve and to care, and so we don't often, you know, make time for our own self-care and the things that we need to do to sustain our well-being. So the analogy that I like to use is the one of the airplane mask. They always tell you in the airplane that you should put your mask on first before you help someone else, and we absolutely have to do that if we're going to sustain our health and have that strength and well-being to be able to serve others.
That's a good tip. And we always chuckle when they say that and go, oh, you know, imagine. But yes, you have to do that. You have to put yourself first, otherwise you're no good to anybody. Dr. Deborah, I just want to say something. Actually, I was reading in the Wall Street Journal on Sunday in the magazine. Deepak Chopra was talking about epiphany. And it was interesting because he was, as a doctor, he was talking about how he had this epiphany, realizing that the mind and the body had to work together to get results.
Absolutely.
So one not working with the other, forget it. So, you know, we've heard from Heather and Dr. Gabby on the body. So let's talk about the mind, that other piece that's really going to make us whole and be able to deal with stress and keep healthy and so on and so forth.
Well, absolutely. I think that is a perfect link, the mind and the body. To take care of the body, we have to take care of the mind, and vice versa. You know, first, when I think about stress, and I have clients come in to me with concerns of stress, and as you mentioned earlier in my introduction, I see all age levels, from children all the way up to adults of varying ages, and stress has different definitions and different meanings depending on who you're talking to, and can range from anything such as dealing with a divorce to I have a new teacher in school, and you know, this information that I'm learning is far more than I've ever learned before. We have a lot of problems here with kindergartners moving into first grade, and oh my gosh, we have to sit still. And so adults come in typically with stress about parenting and they may be dealing with a health crisis. So in working with people, I have found out that stress means to an individual what is important to them. So stress comes up when something we care about is at stake. So each individual is going to have a different definition of stress, which then will in turn determine how we cope with that stress and how we help them to manage. And I agree with what Dr. Gabby and what Heather has said about, you know, we need to take care of ourselves most importantly before we can start helping others with dealing with their stress.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we just ran a poll here, and the simple question, how do you feel stress affects you? Well, there was physically, mentally, or all of the above, and pretty much 100% of everybody on this call, our attendees, said all of above. So it's true, you know, that stress affects both of those pieces, and that's why both of those pieces need to be addressed wholly and holistically to be able to move forward and alleviate the stress. Gabby and Heather, come back on. I want to ask you guys a question now. As professional women in the holistic area, what are some of the key elements that you put into place when trying to alleviate a client of stress-related issues? Heather, we'll start with you.
Well, the very first thing I focus on, we've touched on a bit, with all three of us, is helping our clients understand the importance of making themselves their own #1 priority. One of the greatest obstacles people face when embarking on a fitness journey is an overly full life with maxed out schedules and never-ending demands on their time and energy. Combating this often requires us to assess how we're spending our time and identify areas where we can cut back to make time for ourselves. In many cases, the best solution is to literally schedule appointments with ourselves, blocking out time just as we do for everything else that we commit to in life. We can have the best workout program, the best nutrition program, and the best intentions, but if we don't make the time to implement them, we will never experience the physical or mental benefits these things offer. So many people are reluctant, though, to schedule time for themselves because it very often means saying no to someone or something else. Women in particular feel extremely guilty and selfish if they put themselves first, but it is not selfish to take care of ourselves. It is absolutely necessary. These appointments we set with ourselves should include time for physical activity each day. No gym membership is required. They should also include time to shop for and prepare healthy foods and time to mentally recharge. For introverts, time alone is critical, while extroverts will typically benefit more from time with friends and family. Either way, that me time is absolutely vital to both our physical and mental health. I equate taking care of ourselves to the emergency procedures on an airplane, and I saw somebody comment on this in the chat room earlier. We have to secure our own oxygen mask before helping others. In an in-flight emergency, if you don't secure your mask first because you are trying to help everyone else, which we often do, you will lose consciousness. As a result, not only can you not help anyone else, but now they have to take extraordinary measures to help you. Our lives are no different. If we don't take care of ourselves, we and all of those around us will eventually pay the price. But if we take care of ourselves and make that time to put ourselves first, we will become healthier, we'll have more energy, we feel better, we become happier, and we think more clearly. As a result, we become much better equipped to deal with all of life's challenges, and we're better able to help everyone around us. And as a bonus, we'll look better too.
Thanks, Heather. Well, Dr. Gabby, Heather really covered a lot there. Do you have anything else to add in here that you'd like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Wonderful.
I think one of the things that we do is we have an aversion to stress, and when we have an aversion to something, we try to push it away. And I think that what we need to do is we need to embrace it. And I have an acronym that I use in my mind about embracing things that are uncomfortable, and it's PALS, like friendship, you know, PALS. And so the acronym, the first letter is P, and that stands for becoming present. So if we're really busy and we're running around and we don't take time to stop and come into the present moment like we did in that beautiful meditation with Vivian, then we don't even know what we're stressed about. We don't even know what our triggers are. We don't know what's happening, right? So the first thing is becoming present. The second thing, the A, stands for awareness. Then we have to pay attention to what's causing the stress. Is it the environment? Is it our diet? Is it our sedentary lifestyle? We have to increase our self-awareness before we can take any action or make any changes. The L in PALS stands for love and compassion. So often when we notice that we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, like we're eating the wrong food, we can become very self-critical, we can start beating ourselves up, and I think that's only going to add more stress to the situation. So L is this love and compassion of embracing ourselves and being compassionate with ourselves so that we can make healthy changes. And the S, the final S, is it's about finding the source. What is the source of, what is the underlying problem? Where really is the discontent, or where is the imbalance? And that's what's so amazing about holistic health, is that holistic health focuses on the root cause of symptoms. So we don't just treat the headache with an Advil, right? We look at, are you dehydrated? Is your spine imbalanced? Is there something else going on underneath that needs to be resolved so that you can have better health and well-being? So I just like to use that acronym, and it helps me to remember what I need to do for myself.
Thank you. You know, we ran a poll again, and we asked our attendees how they manage stress. So the first was A, see it as a sign to adjust habits, food, sleep, and exercise. See it as a sign to adjust your workload. Ignore it and hope it goes away. So those are the three choices, and we know that ignore it and hope it goes away is often can be a choice that we make sometimes because we just are so busy. So 57% of our attendees said A, see it as a sign to adjust habits, food, sleep, and exercise. interesting, more than workload. I thought workload might sort of creep in there evenly, but it didn't. You know, stress, you know, it's interesting. I've got some articles here, and it was like 5 ways to turn stress into productivity. So get caught up to stress less. So it's like turning around the sort of negative impact of stress and actually being aware of it and actually turning it into a project that can be healing and invigorating and put you on the right track. Debbie, the mind can play havoc when it comes to stress, as we know. As trained psychologists, share with us the approach you take with a patient who's dealing with stress-related symptoms that might affect many of us.
Well, I usually begin with addressing how they think about stress. Many people think about stress as harmful to their body. We hear on a regular basis about how stress is killing you, how stress is making you unhealthy. And I've been reading a lot of the comments in the chat room as we have been talking, and I have been seeing comments about people who stress has wreaked havoc on their immune system, on their health, and can cause many diseases. But in preparing for today's talk about stress, I did a little bit of research, and I talk about this research to clients that have stress and keeping up with the latest research. And I was actually very surprised at what I found. They now, despite us believing that stress kills and stress is very harmful, the latest science is telling us that, as Dr. Gabby said, we need to embrace stress. That stress is not this horrible thing that we need to get rid of and eliminate. Stress can be better thought of as our body's response to a challenge, and it gives us energy and courage to face that challenge and deal with the hurdles that we may have in front of us. I thought the best way to deliver this message, which is a little contrary to how we think, to go over a little bit of research findings from this study that was begun in 1998, and researchers took 30,000 participants in the United States and asked them 2 questions at the very beginning. How much stress have you felt or encountered over the past year? And do you believe that stress is harmful to your health? Now, they followed these 30,000 individuals over the course of 8 years. And during the course of those 8 years, they looked at death records to see who had died. And essentially, they found some bad news, that 43% of those individuals who had a lot of stress in their life had died. Now, it wasn't only true for those who just had a lot of stress. It was true, those 43% of that 30,000 was the individuals who had a lot of stress and believed that stress was harmful to their health. So it wasn't the stress that was harmful to their health. It was the stress in addition to believing that it was actually harming themselves, harming their health, harming their relationships, causing damage to them physically and mentally, that actually passed away in those 8 years. The researchers kind of took that as a projection of what was going on with the deaths in America over those 8 years and found that approximately 182,000 Americans in the course of that 8-year study died prematurely, not from stress, but from believing that stress was harmful. That means over 20,000 deaths a year due to the belief that stress is harmful. That makes stress, actually, let me rephrase, that makes believing stress is bad for you the 15th leading cause of death in the United States, killing more people than skin cancer, HIV and AIDS, and homicide. So the perception, the view of stress is actually what is harmful to us, and changing that, seeing it as a strength, is what my typical treatment recommendation and how I work with my individuals.
Fascinating. Yes, I mean, I did not touch on it quite as in depth of you, but I definitely saw that in the research too, about just how the mind, the negative impact of the mind, and basically that's what would override everything. And so yes, the mind's very powerful. Ladies, for all of you, what advice would you give our members today on how they can detect early stages of stress and some actions they can take to alleviate the build-up themselves? So Dr. Deborah, since you just have kind of nailed this whole thing, I feel like, based around the statistics show us. So continue for a few more minutes and tell us how we can detect the early stages, catch it mentally, and how we can turn it into something positive.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there is no getting rid of stress. And I think that is not a realistic goal for any of us. So the beginning stages that you may need to take a moment and reflect on how stress is impacting your life is when as Heather and Dr. Gabby mentioned, changes in eating, changes in sleeping, increased irritability, increased anxiety, the feeling of nerves and nervous, and procrastination often can be a sign of stress. We just put off things, as we talked about earlier, that we don't want to do. And the best recommendation, in addition to the ones that have already been mentioned, because I believe making an appointment for self-care is so important and often overlooked, especially in women who are used to being in the caregiving role, is also to remember that whatever our body is going through in stress is a sign that we are ready to take on that challenge. And it really is true that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it gives us the energy to go forth and get that challenge and meet that challenge and grow.
Dr. Deborah, yeah, that's great. Actually, we do have a final poll question that's going to go up. Sam, I'm doing a shout out to you to get that poll question up because it relates to this exactly, and I want to hear what our attendees have to say. Dr. Gabby, what would you like to add here?
Yeah, I think that everything that we're covering so far is really valuable. I want to touch on really quickly this idea of the energy behind stress and how you can use it to be productive, because you can harness that energy that's coming in and you can fuel it into creative projects, into your work. You can use that in a lot of different ways. In terms of detecting stress in your body, I had an experience when I was doing my first yoga teacher training more than 10 years ago, where I was in the training and I was doing the exercises, and the instructor called me up in front of the room and she said, "Breathe for me." And I was like, "What?" She said, "Just breathe for me." And my abdomen was moving in and out about a ½ an inch, and she said, "You're barely alive." So the first indication of your level of stress is just your breath. Are you taking in a full belly breath? Are you breathing into your chest? Is your body expanding? If you check in with yourself periodically, you'll find that your breath is very shallow and very short when you're feeling a lot of stress. So that's the first indicator that's very quick and very easy. The second thing that I recommend is what's called a body scan. A body scan is where you close your eyes and you mentally go through all the different parts of your body from head to toe. And in the body scan, what you're looking for is anywhere that you're feeling tension, contraction, pain, discomfort. Those are the areas of the body that are holding the stress. And if they're holding the stress, then eventually that's going to lead to illness and injury in that area. So you want to go back to your self-care practices to release that. Go get a massage, go to the sauna and sit in the heat, do some yoga or some stretching. Find ways to get that out of the body and detox that so that you can come back into balance and not move into the later stages of chronic stress.
Yeah, we asked the attendees, do you see stress as a driving force in your life? And actually, 60% of the attendees said sometimes, 30% always, and 19% said never. So, it's interesting that I think that it can work both ways. It can be a driving force that people use it to propel themselves, and then it can also be something that can stop you in your tracks and be very disabling. So I think that you have to recognize that, see what it's doing to you, and take action. Ladies, wonderful, great information sharing. I do at this time want to invite Star back on. Star, are you there? I'd like you to share with us how you manage stress with the busy, crazy life you lead. Star, are you around? Okay. She's not here. You know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask Heather to come on and share some thoughts and see if we can get Star on. Maybe she just walked away from the computer for a minute. Heather, you there? Would you like to share some thoughts on this?
Sure, Louise.
Great, Heather, thanks.
The doctors identified, obviously, a number of things that you can look for. I really don't have anything much to add as far as the symptoms that you can look for. But if you are finding yourself struggling with those, not getting enough sleep, your body hurts, digestive issues, or you're just feeling exhausted all the time, and you are likely experiencing some excessive stress, my main recommendation is just to schedule that time for yourself. Start by planning 30 minutes a day for some sort of physical activity. Studies have shown that even 3 10-minute walks a day can be as beneficial as one 30-minute session, and physical activity in some cases has even been shown to be more effective than antidepressants. So it's extremely important in taking that time for yourself. The next thing I would recommend is taking time for those healthy meals, real whole foods, even if it means set aside some time on a Sunday to prepare for the week, or packing a lunch the night before. In addition, your waistline will thank you, your doctor will thank you, your pocketbook will probably thank you as well. And then, of course, that me time, as we've talked about. If you consistently take these steps over time, your physical and mental health will improve, and you'll find that the stressors that we can't avoid in life become more manageable. When you make yourself your #1 priority, you can better do all the amazing things that we all do for everyone else.
You there? Nope, she's not. Well, what I'm going to do, ladies, actually, is I'm going to move on to our panelist picks. I added this, actually. Oh, here's Star. Great, she's back. You need to unmute yourself. Perfect. Star, tell us, how do you deal with stress in your crazy life of running around?
Don't you see me right now? I have taken off all the hats and the clothes, and I have on my silk pajamas, and I'm doing exactly what I do when I need to take some me time. I have about 2 hours before our next event, so I thought to myself, this is the perfect opportunity to just rest. You know, the old adage is to put your own oxygen mask on first. As they say on an airplane, you put your own oxygen mask on first before you try to help others, because if you're not breathing, you're not going to be that helpful to anyone else. And I know it's not easy. Any professional woman knows that our days are filled to the max with an endless overload of responsibilities and commitments. But you must make yourself and your health a priority, as your other speakers have said. I cannot stress enough, pun intended, it took me a long time to understand the warning signs of stress. So pay attention, guys, and take care of yourself first, I should say. Number 2, you have to set your limits. Don't let yourself or anyone else stretch you in every direction. Let's keep it real, ladies. We cannot be everywhere at once or be all things to all people. You have to be confident about saying no. It may actually come in handy. When I was a practicing attorney, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week as a senior assistant district attorney. I was responsible for caseloads of immense volume and importance, and literally would be the difference between deciding when another person's life and liberty. So I sacrificed seeing friends and family. I developed some really bad habits that would take years to correct, and I even sacrificed my own health while trying to do it all. It took some time, but I learned the importance of saying no. So set some limits and draw the line. It could save you from going over the edge. My 3rd tip is just ask for some help. Too many things to do and not enough time in the day. Don't hesitate. Delegate. I have a great team around me, and I let them do their jobs. There's no reason for me to stress about them doing their job when they are professionals also. There are people in your life who can help you if you just ask them. Reach out to a coworker for extra help with a project. Ask a friend about carpooling your children to where they need to go. Ask a family member or neighbor to babysit or pet sit so you can have the night off to relax a little. You'll be surprised how much help is out there, and all you have to do is ask. And don't forget to reciprocate. And then finally, surround yourself with positivity. This is a huge one for me. As you know, my job does require me to travel almost continually. I can share with you that I haven't slept in my own bed since April the 9th. Yes, a full month. With being on the road or in the air so frequently, it's often difficult to stay spiritually and emotionally grounded. I wake up every morning to the same alarm. It is a song of praise and thanksgiving for getting through yet another night. I can share with you in the same year that I had open heart surgery, one of my dear friends had a massive debilitating stroke. She's now fully recovered, thank God, but it was a long and arduous journey to recover. In helping direct her recovery, I started doing some research on pet therapy. Little did I know that in less than a year, I would be the one who would benefit from what researchers report that just a 12-minute visit with a dog improved heart and lung function in men and women hospitalized with heart failure. So regular contact with pets has proven to also lower blood pressure and anxiety, and I know that to be fact. So I'd like to introduce you to the little Maltese that changed my life for the better. This is Miss Pinky Michelle. I had her trained to aid in my heart health recovery. She has helped and continues to help me control heart palpitations and spikes in my blood pressure. Pinky's unconditional love has brought me the serenity that I need to stay healthy. So here's to staying stress-free and feeling fabulous. Right, Pinky? Right, Pinky?
Thank you, Star. Pinky, I adore Pinky too, and every time I travel with you, Star, and I get to be around her, she definitely relieves the stress for me as well. She's fabulous. What a wonderful dog. As we wrap up this week's panel discussion, I want to share with you our recommended reads from our panelists today. Heather recommended The Power of Less. The Power of Less demonstrates how to streamline your life by identifying the essential and eliminating the unnecessary, freeing you from everyday clutter and allowing you to focus on accomplishing the goals that can change your life for better. Dr. Deborah recommended The Upside of Stress, written by Kelly McGonigal. With more than 44% of Americans admitting to losing sleep over stress, Stanford psychologist and best-selling author Kelly McGonigal, PhD, delivers a startling message. Stress isn't bad. McGonigal highlights new research indicating that stress can, in fact, make us stronger, smarter, and happier if we learn how to embrace it. And lastly, Dr. Gabby recommends Full Catastrophe Living by John Kabat-Zinn. The landmark work on mindfulness, meditation, and healing, now revised and updated after 25 years, tells us that stress can sap our energy, undermine our health if we let it, even shorten our lives. It makes us more vulnerable to anxiety and depression, disconnection, and disease. John Kabat-Zinn's renowned stress reduction program is classic, groundbreaking work which gave rise to a whole new field in medicine and psychology. Thank you, ladies. These are great choices, and thank you for your professional insight on a topic that affects us all at some time in our lives. It is much appreciated. And also thank you to the over 1,000 members who registered for our event today. And attendees will be receiving a follow-up list of all members at the event today, so you can connect again on napw.com and continue to network. If any of our attendees have further questions for our speakers, please feel free to reach out. Their information is on today's PowerPoint and will also be listed in the post eChapter email. Also, all NAPW eChapters are recorded and saved on YouTube for you to find and watch again. A couple of final important announcements as we wrap up the eChapter event. Our next eChapter event is Wednesday, May 18th at 12 noon, and the topic is networking, how and why. Ladies, register now. It should be live on your screen. If Sam puts it up, you can click that button and register for the next event right here on this eChapter. NAPW's upcoming in-person corporate networking events are as follow. as follows: Power Network events, Peonies in San Jose, which actually I think the date changed to June 2nd. Today, I just saw an email, and Houston, June 14th. And our 2 national summits will be held August 23rd in Los Angeles and October 8th in Washington, D.C. Look out for emails and social media posts to register for these upcoming events. And finally, ladies, post eChapter, here are 3 things you should do to continue putting your NAPW membership to work. Connect with at least 3 members post eChapter. Sign up for the next eChapter, which I hope you just did right now. And don't forget to take the post eChapter survey. Your feedback is very important to us. Thank you, everyone, for another great eChapter here from Louisville, Kentucky. And we look forward to seeing you again next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.